A long time ago, there was an electric car called the BMW i3, and it was absolutely spiffing. Actually, it wasn't that long ago. It was only 2013, but that was before Tesla was a thing. And it was really audacious and rather amazing and futuristic looking. But a lot has happened in the world of electric vehicles in the last 8 years, so we thought we'd have another look at the i3 to see how it stacks up against the competition now, particularly now that BMW has dropped the price to coincide with the government's drop in the plug-in grant. But before we start talking about the BMW i3, if you like this video, please don't forget to like it and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Over 200,000 BMW i3 cars have been sold worldwide. Although the i3 is now quite a familiar sight on British roads, it still has an eye-catching look about it. The latest edition of the i3 is called the 120 amp hour, which means it has a 42.2 kilowatt hour battery, nearly twice the capacity of the original car. There are now just two versions of the i3, the basic one and the S we have here, both of which are battery only. The range extender was discontinued a few years ago. The main difference is the electric motor power, which has 170 horsepower for the basic car and 184 horsepower for the S. The subtle changes over the years, and on this S model in particular, keep it looking like a BMW, but with a clearly futuristic edge. The two-tone black and Melbourne red paint provide a tasteful and aggressive combination. Paint options like this above the basic white and blue are £550. All cars have at least 19-inch wheels, but the S switches these to 20-inch, and this particular car also has the i3S Plus package, which includes a different design of 20-inch alloys. It's a sizable £1,100 extra, but also adds better Harman Kardon speakers, online entertainment and sun protection glass. You can get this pack for the basic i3 too, but it costs £1,400 more with that car. The i3S already has lowered sport suspension, wider wheels and tyres, but the wheels are still pretty narrow compared to most cars. The basic car uses 19-inch 155s, while the S's 20-inch tyres are 175s front and 195s on the rear. Most normal car tyres are over 200mm wide. Other options include parking assistance for £790, enhanced Bluetooth with wireless charging for £395, and interior trim bundles costing up to £2,000. Even the reversing camera is a £360 optional extra. Yes, you guessed it, this is another German car with an options list as long as your arm that can add thousands to the price. Another thing that's an optional extra is smart keyless entry. So with this particular car, we have to press a key button here to open it up. Interior choices revolve around posh sounding dwelling type names. The basic one is called Atelier, then there's Loft for £1,000 more, Lodge for £1,500 more, and the suite interior we have here is £2,000 extra. This doesn't just add nicer seat material, but wooden trim as well. The seats on our car, which in this case are allegedly leather Vernasca dark truffle, I didn't taste them to confirm this, are quite hard but still comfortable. There's good headroom and they hold your back in place nicely, which is great for a sports seat. However, despite the fact that these are £2,000 seats, you can see that they're still mechanically adjusted. Yep, electronic controls are another optional extra. You get a couple of cup holders. There's one here at the front and another one here under the armrest. I'm not sure you can see that, but there's a couple of USB ports, including one that's USB-C. And if I pull that out, that's actually a 12-volt one next to this cup holder. And if you open up this armrest, there's a Qi charger for your phone, which is, yep, that's a £395 option. As you can see though, this iPhone 12 Max Pro doesn't even fit into it. One of the strangest, or maybe more innovative things about the i3, which you may or may not like, is that the rear doors are actually, they open the wrong way. These are called suicide doors, and I'm not going to really go into detail why they're called that. You'll notice that it has the seatbelt for the front occupant integrated. Yep, it probably does give a bit of extra space to get into those rear seats, so that's a good thing, but also it doesn't have windows you can actually open if you're a rear passenger. The rear seats are reasonably comfortable for an adult. As you can see, my glasses fall off the top of my head, but actually once I'm in, there's plenty of headroom. However, it's worth noting that there are actually only two seats in the back here. The middle seats are only available if you're actually a cup, because it's actually a pair of cup holders. So although the headroom's good though, the knee room is a little bit more cramped. This is a kind of regular seating position for a normal average sized driver like me, because I'm normal and average sized. You'll note though that there are no USB chargers or separate controls for the air conditioning for the backseat passengers. You're also missing magazine holders for the occupants in the back, so there's going to be nowhere for your kids to put their copy of the Dandy or whatever it is that kids read these days. Both rear seats have these easily accessible ISOFIX points as well for running a child car seat. So not too bad inside for adult occupants. However, the boot is rather small. As you can see, it has a very high floor and there's nothing much underneath there. You can't really get to it. That's where the motor is. This is only 260 litres, which is pretty small, smaller than most hatchbacks, even the Honda E. However, if you pull these loops here, you can pop these seats forward. You can see it's not a 60-40 arrangement, it's a 50-51. Now you have 1100 litres, which is a lot more capacious. So basically, this boot was okay for a small weekly shop, and you could get some sizable shopping here. A small trip to IKEA could be possible, but not if you're going to buy a sofa. Strangely, the bonnet actually opens with a key button. And then you open it up like this, and you find there's a small frunk with some emergency equipment inside. But you could put a very, very small child in there if you wanted to. The BMW i3 was never meant to be a long-range car, much more for city use and commuting. However, the range has increased over the years, and now they've even got rid of the range extender version, which has that kind of lawnmower engine in the back to add extra range, because the battery is now long enough. Now the basic i3 has up to 190 miles of range, and the i3S up to 173 miles of range, which is more than enough for multiple daily commutes. AC charging is supported up to 11 kilowatts, which will take 3 hours 10 minutes to recharge the battery to 80%. A more usual 7 kilowatt wall box will take around 4 3/4 hours. DC charging only goes up to 50 kilowatts, taking 45 minutes to reach 80%. That's another reason you probably wouldn't want to drive from Bristol to Aberdeen in this car. However, this is an economical car costing 3.1p per mile on a 14p per kilowatt hour service. You can also subscribe to Charge Now, which is BMW's rebadged version of BP Pulse. The i3's controls probably felt quite futuristic in 2013, but now they feel a little bit retro. As you can see, the steering wheel is fairly normal. You get the normal kind of range of buttons, and you get physical sticks for the windscreen wipers. You're listening, Tesla, and also actually that's the windscreen wipers. This one's the indicators. The drive control knob, which some might think is reminiscent of the ID3, but the i3 did it first, has this kind of rotating action. So you rotate once for drive, the other way for reverse or neutral. There's a park button on the top and a start-stop button on the front as well. There's an electronic parking brake down here at seat level, kind of where you'd expect a conventional handbrake. This rocker switch in the central console operates the drive modes. There are two eco modes, a regular mode and then the sport mode, which is special for the i3S. Then you have this dial here for controlling the menu, which we'll get to shortly. Before that, we should just talk about the air conditioning, which you can see has got a full range of discrete buttons. However, it's not zoned. There's just one heat level for the whole car. The 10.2-inch panel is reasonably large, even by today's standards. You can see it's not a touchscreen, which is probably a good thing because it's quite hard to reach from the driver's seat. You operate it by rocking this knob from side to side, or you can actually rotate it as well. The sat-nav is actually quite decent, as real-time traffic as standard, always a plus, particularly in a car that's really great for commuting. The menus are pretty extensive though. Lots of information about your vehicle. You can see there's a DAB radio involved as well, and this particular version has connected drive with vehicle apps. Online search as well. Over here on the communications menu, you'll see that you can manage your mobile devices and actually add Apple CarPlay. This car also has the £160 online entertainment pack, which adds things like connected music. Since it's a BMW, you'd hope that driving is a high point, and despite the age of the design, it really is. The motor drives the rear wheels like every self-respecting BMW, and the steering is precise and quick. All i3s are fast, but the S is particularly quick. It has 14 HP more than the basic car for a total of 184 horsepower. This allows the i3S to hit 62 miles per hour in 6.9 seconds, making this one of the fastest EVs in the price bracket that isn't a Tesla. So let's just have a quick feel about that acceleration. There we go, 40 miles an hour. The basic car is only 0.4 seconds slower. There's definitely something about the i3S that coaxes you to drive fast and purposely. In fact, this is one of the most fun EVs on the market. It handles brilliantly, accelerates fast up to motorway speeds, and feels assured on the road. This is every bit a BMW driving experience with that solid steering that you come to expect from BMWs. That said, the sport suspension is quite stiff. It's not so hard that British city potholes will be a crashy nightmare, but it's definitely set up for handling rather than comfort. We'll take that though, this car isn't as fast as a Tesla Model 3 Performance by any means, but it's almost as fun, and it's particularly around city streets. We love it. Most contemporary safety features come with the £790 Driving Assistant Plus pack. That includes adaptive LED lights, but the eDrive system, which is supposed to emit a sound to warn pedestrians that you're coming, is another £80 on top of the package. The bundle includes adaptive cruise control with stop and go. There are other features including forward collision warning, city collision mitigation, and preventative pedestrian protection, which is, try saying that when you're drunk. You also get speed limit display and traffic jam assist. The Park Assist package includes front and rear sensors. As we already mentioned, the reversing camera is another £360. Neither blind spot detection nor lane departure warnings appear to be options that you can actually get. Just after we received this car for a review, BMW announced new pricing so that the entire range can still benefit from the UK government plug-in grant. The basic i3 is now £33,805 and the S is £34,805. That's nearly £3,000 lower than it was before. At this point, we should say that the list price is what counts for the UK plug-in grant. You can add as many options you like on top and it still qualifies for the discount, and boy are there a lot of options. The warranty is 3 years for unlimited miles. There's also an 8-year 100,000 mile battery warranty, although BMW doesn't say what capacity this is for. To get that battery warranty, you're going to have to spend another £15 a month on BMW's service plan. Overall, despite the price drops, the i3 is an expensive car for the range on offer. Kia will give you 100 miles more for similar money. However, you might want to pay that for the driving experience the BMW i3 offers, particularly if you're planning shorter journeys. So is the BMW i3 getting a bit old? Yes. But do we still love it? Absolutely, yes. Yes, we do. Of course, we'd like more range for less money, but the price drop has managed to keep the i3 relevant. It's really great to drive, and the build quality is excellent too. So yes, it is really expensive, and that incredibly long option list will bump that price up even further. But if you're after a car for city driving and short commutes, it's really worth considering still. If you like this video, please don't forget to like it and subscribe to our YouTube channel.